What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode
Dead birds suck.
of Dead Birds Discussion. I am Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Braden Dowers, or his screen name, Dead Birds Suck. So we said that we would make an episode of Dead Birds Discussion if the Cardinals had, I think, did they lose 2 out of 3 to the Pirates?
No, they split the series with the
They
Pirates.
split the series.
I
Okay.
said that we'd do one if they lost the series to the Pirates.
Yeah, and then they won, and they're like, okay, we'll hold off. And then they lost the first game to the Diamondbacks. And then I told you if they lose the next one to the Diamondbacks, then we'll do Dead Birds Discussion because that would have been them losing 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah.
Well, they lost. They've lost 3 out of the last 4. They lost tonight to the Diamondbacks. Was it 9-8 or 8-7?
It was 8-7.
8-7. They had a chance to win it in the ninth. Nolan Arenado was at the plate, and they lost. And now they are
7-11.
7-11, lost 3 out of their last 4. And we're here to rant. We're here to talk about the Deadbirds. So I know you said you could go on for about 30 or 40 minutes talking about the Deadbirds. So that's why I brought you on this evening, even though it's late. But I mean, what are your thoughts? I know you have some comments for Marmol about the lineups he's been putting out. I mean, he moved Contreras up to third in the batting rotation. So, I mean, like, what are your thoughts right now? No Juan Yepes, he's been absent. So,
yeah. I guess I'll start with the Pirates series. That was a fucking joke. It was like every single issue that we've had was still on full display. Nothing changed throughout the entire series. Woodford had a solid outing, but big whoop. We got shut out for I think it was almost 7 innings by Johan Oviedo, who, if anybody for some reason follows my Twitter, I said at the beginning of the season that him and Mitch Keller were going to be great breakout pitchers for the Pirates and that the Pirates would be a significantly better team. I think that I've been decently right by saying that the Pirates are a good team because they look like a very competent, solid baseball team. And I don't think that it's necessarily that the Cardinals played that badly against the Pirates. I think that the Pirates are just a pretty good team this year. They're just solid, and I think that they'll finish around 500. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I'm going to be real. I wouldn't be too surprised. And for the, it's early crowd, fuck off. Like, this team just, like, the Cardinals don't look good. They keep having the same issue where they get the bases loaded and they just can't drive in runs. I think I saw a tweet the other day that said that we're like 1 for 17 with the bases loaded or some crazy shit like that. But that entire Pirate series was just infuriating. The fact that we had to go to extra innings to even split the series is pathetic. Again, while I do think that the Pirates are a solid team and that they're good and that they have gotten significantly better this offseason, and I like the pitchers that they have, we're the St. Louis Cardinals. We were second in ticket sales, we're second in TV ratings, or we were first, I forget, and we're 16th in payroll. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make sense with the revenue that they make from ticket sales, from TV deals, from literally everything. For them to be in the bottom half of the league in payroll is fucking pathetic. It is a joke that they are that low in payroll. And then, like, okay, Wilson Contreras has had a really good last, I think, 3 days. He's come on really strong. He had 2 home runs tonight. He looked really good tonight. He's looked really damn good behind the plate defensively, at least with throwing runners out. I'm not 100% sure how well he's done of a job framing. I haven't been paying that close of attention, especially when I worked for the Royals. So
he's thrown a couple guys out.
Yeah, he's I think he has the highest caught stealing percentage in the league right now. Like, he's 5 for 8 or some crazy stat like that. And Real Muto is like 5 for 17. And he's the only other guy with 5 caught stealing attempts. So Wilson's looked decent defensively behind the plate, but Marmol continued to fucking bat him 5th in the lineup. Like, for no reason. Like Nootbaar got back, Gorman's been really good, and we continue to just have Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, 3 righties in a row bat 3-4-5. Goldie and Arenado batting 3-4 makes sense. We've done that for the past 3 years, basically, ever since we had them both. But not having somebody like Gorman when he's been our best, most clutch offensive hitter, he's the only guy that has come through in big situations. He has 14 RBIs, and if it wasn't for Nolan Gorman, we'd have 4 wins right now because he has come through in the clutch so many damn times. And to not have him batting higher in the lineup and have him batting 6th, that's fucking stupid. Contreras shouldn't be batting 5th. They moved him up to 3rd and gave Goldie an off day, and then they moved him to 4th tonight. And he did really good in both of those games. But I like the lineup construction has just been atrocious. It's been a fucking joke. Into where I can't find it right now, but I think it was the lineup 2 nights ago. I tweeted out that like Marmol has to be fucking trolling. It was when Wilson was batting 3rd. I mean, they're constantly playing Burleson and he's hitting the ball hard, I guess, but his defense isn't worth it. Tommy Edman, God, I love him. He's my favorite player, but he needs to stop batting left-handed. He has 0 extra base hits and 59 at-bats from the left side of the plate, whereas when he's batting right-handed, he is significantly better. Carlson's looked okay. O'Neill's our 5th outfielder right now because he's just looked bad. Nootbaar's looked solid since he came back from the IL. Has drawn a shitload of walks. But I'd say my biggest problem with this team right now is Ollie Marmol. He's just not that good as a manager. He's making absolutely fucking horrible lineups. He's completely overworking the bullpen, and it's a fucking joke. We used Jordan Hicks in the 10th inning against the Pirates on, I think it was Saturday, yeah. Because when I was working at the Royals, they were in a rain delay. Fucking miserable game, by the way. It was 40 degrees and like 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it was wet and rainy and just cold as fuck. But they had the Cardinals game up on the Jumbotron, and I saw Jordan Hicks come in for the fucking 10th inning while we were tied. I'm like, what the hell are we fucking doing? We just threw the game away. And then, of course, because it was Andrew McCutchen against us, he fucking owns the Cardinals. He's always has. Another reason why I thought that the Pirates would be better this year is because they got Kutch back, and I thought that they'd have like that Pujols magic that we kind of did last year. But like Jordan Hicks versus Andrew McCutchen was a recipe for disaster. And he didn't even get a single out, and it was 6-3. And then we brought in Genesis Cabrera, and he got 3 outs. Like, what the fuck? Why wasn't Cabrera in for the 10th to start anyways? Because I don't fucking get it. And there was one of the at-bats, I forget which one it was, but Hicks literally threw like 7 or 8 straight sliders. He has a 102-mile-per-hour sinker with like so much goddamn vertical break on it, and he's just not throwing it. He only throws his fucking slider. Like, there's literally no pitch sequencing whatsoever, and that is probably more on Contreras than it is Marmol. But the fact that Marmol is putting him in high leverage situations still is a fucking joke. And then his bullpen man, like, and this isn't like just a Jordan Hicks thing. His bullpen management has been fucking atrocious. He overworked the ever living fuck out of Andre Palante to the point where he went 4 days in a row without pitching because he had fatigue and his arm hurt. And he's just like, I can't pitch right now. And so he sits out for 4 games. Then he comes back, he throws 22 pitches, and then you know what Marmol does? He puts him in the fucking 6th inning or in the 7th inning after Flaherty allows a leadoff walk. I forget what else he did. But Flaherty got into some issue in the top of the 7th inning. He didn't get a single out. Why the fuck Flaherty was in the fucking 7th inning in that game, I don't know. It was fucking bullshit. He should have been pulled after the 6th. But no, Marmol tries to fucking overwork his pitchers because he tries to get every little last bit out of them, and it completely fucks us because our offense is so inept, and our pitchers get put in bad situations, and then we bring in shitty bullpen arms. Like, it's just a fucking rinse and repeat cycle of the same bullshit over and over and over and over and over again. And Marmol isn't fucking changing what he's trying to fucking do. But he put in Palante after throwing 22 pitches the night before. He puts him in with runners. I think it was on first or with a runner on second. And then he walks the bases loaded. Then he allows a grand slam to Pavin Smith. So yeah, and now Palante's down in AAA. Palante's one of our best relievers. I'm sorry, he is. He's one of our best relievers, and he's been completely mismanaged, completely misused, and completely fucked over by Ollie. It is not Palante's fault that he's been put in these absolutely fucking horrible situations and been completely misused, completely mismanaged. It is fucking ridiculous that he has not got the playing time that he deserves and been put in the right situations. It is complete organizational. It is a complete organizational failure to not play Palante as much as or to play Palante the way that he's been played. And then tonight, Nick Ahmed hit a fucking double off of a pitch that was spiked. Montgomery looked bad. He's not like, I'm sorry, I've never been a Jordan Montgomery fan outside of like his first 5 starts, great. But then once it hit September last year, I was very done with the Jordan Montgomery experiment. He was fucking horrible in September and had an ERA, I think it was north of 6 or 7.
Yeah, tonight was bad, real quick, too. I'll cut you off. I mean, that 4th inning, awful. Just awful. I mean, Diamondbacks scored like 6 runs.
I mean, it was 7-2 when I looked.
Yeah, and he allowed like 6 runs in an inning and allowed 6 runs before even recording a single out. It was bad. Now, the Deadbirds defense, which has typically been good this year. I mean, that's one of the few.
I mean, it's our defense is always great.
Yeah, but I mean, even tonight they had like just some bad mistakes where like,
because
they had a rundown
to fucking play Taylor Motter. Yeah, and Motter didn't tag him out.
Yeah, well, and then they like whiffed. There was one where Brendan Donovan, I think, just whiffed on the tag. And they had the guy caught, just couldn't make the tag, and so that didn't help either.
Yeah,
you might be right, but yeah, but Jordan Montgomery wasn't good either. So
no,
there's that.
No, I mean Jack Flaherty's been our best pitcher so far, without a doubt. He was on the hook for the earned runs that Palante led up with the grand slam, but Flaherty had a really good outing in that first game against the Diamondbacks, and he was pretty solid in that start against the Rockies the day after we recorded the last Deadbirds discussion. But Michaelis was fine against the Pirates. He didn't look great. Montgomery's had a fucking horrible start tonight. His last start was in he started the first game against the Pirates, and that was our second quality start. He had a pretty good night that night, but we got shut out 5-0 because we couldn't fucking score. We had like 7 or 8 hits, but we just couldn't get a run across the plate. We got shut out by the fucking Pirates. Like that is the 2023 Cardinals getting shut out by the fucking Pirates. So yeah, Ollie's completely mismanaged the bullpen, completely mismanaged the starting rotation. The starting rotation's a fucking joke. Thanks, Mo. And I wanted to talk about Juan Yepez as well. So basically, fuck the St. Louis Cardinals. And Juan Yepez's dad agrees with me. I've put out multiple tweets saying that we should trade Juan Yepez and give him to an organization that actually gives him a fucking shot, because he would be a starter on most teams. He was the only motherfucker who scored runs in the postseason last year with a 2-run homer against Philly in the 7th inning before Marmol completely fucking blew the game by using Helsley and just not fucking pulling him and sitting on the bench and fucking smiling. It's really been downhill since that Phillies series. But he completely fucking mismanaged that. But Yepez was our only source of offense that entire fucking series. He was really damn good in the very few at-bats that he's gotten. I saw a Foolish Baseball tweet that said that it was like the fewest at-bats or the most at-bats without a strikeout. Juan Yepez has had 15 at-bats so far this year. He does not have a single strikeout, which, again, it's only 15 at-bats, but it shows a lot. Like, he was absolutely fucking mashing the ball against Colorado. He had so many goddamn hard hits. He is constantly hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour, and we just don't play him. Like, no, he's not good defensively at all. So, and we want Gorman to be our DH, but if we're being realistic, Donovan really hasn't been that good at the plate recently, and he's not that, like, sure, he won the Gold Glove for the utility man last year. That's just because he plays a shit ton of positions. He's not that much of a plus defender at any position when you look into his advanced metrics. So why aren't we just playing Gorman at second base when he's serviceable? He's league average at second base. And why aren't we DHing Yepes? And even then, why isn't Yepes, like, Yepes should be getting playing time on this team, and it's fucking infuriating that he's not, because his bat is so goddamn valuable. It is insane because he just constantly hits the ball hard. I mean, there's not a single at bat where I've seen Juan Yepes not hit the ball hard, because he always just gets the barrel to the ball, and it's going to be a fucking rocket off of his bat. And there's no reason that he should be stuck in fucking Memphis right now. It is a pathetic joke. And if he's going to be stuck in Memphis, then, like I said, trade him to a team that fucking needs a first baseman or an outfielder or a DH or fucking anything. Just somebody who needs a bat, and get us some goddamn pitching. Trade him to, I don't know, like the fucking Guardians or something. They have so many goddamn pitchers, and they definitely need a plus power bat. So just trade him there and a couple other prospects, and they're not going to want to pay somebody like Shane Bieber in the offseason. I'm just spitballing right now. I doubt that they trade Shane Bieber to us. But, like, just trade him and some other fucking prospects for some fucking pitchers that are going to do good and get fucking strikeouts. I mean, Matt's has been horrific. Woodford's been all right. They're a fucking mess right now.
You also need players, or you talked about like mismanaging the bullpen or like overworking the bullpen, and it's because their starting pitchers can't make it through 5 innings. And so they need more pitchers that can do that. I mean, at this point, we're not even.
And Palante was a starter last year because Dakota Hudson was so fucking bad that he is our long reliever. And the fact that he gets sent down to AAA for Jojo Romero, who I'd like to mention, I fucking love Jojo Romero. He's fucking great. I don't know why he started the year in AAA. That's dumb. But yeah, like him, like Zach Thompson, great as well. But like Zach Thompson was a starter turn reliever. Andre Palante was a starter turn reliever. Like, you know what? Sandy Alcantara, he was going to be a fucking reliever for us. Like, I don't think that many people realize that Alcantara in this he was a starter for us in the minors, but we were very quickly turning him into a fucking reliever before we traded him for Ozuna. Like, they just have this fucking infatuation with trade.
You were talking about turning Alcantara into a reliever and so on.
Okay, so that's where it cut off.
Yep.
Okay. But we were planning on making Sandy Alcantara a reliever. We did the same thing with players like Ryan Helsley, and it's just fucking infuriating because we continue to like have these really good prospects that are going to be starters. We just turn them into relievers because we don't think that we need starters at the big league level right now, whenever the hell we decide to turn them into relievers. And then once they get to the majors, then we realize, oh shit, our starters are hurt. We don't have any depth. Let's get the bullpen guys that were formerly starters that aren't stretched out at all because we made them into fucking 1 inning, 2 inning bullpen guys. So we're just going to try and make them starters. And that's not how it works. You can't just fucking stretch a guy out like that quickly and then expect them to put up good numbers. Like, we're stuck in this fucking cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again with all of these fucking prospects that Randy Flores does an amazing job in drafting. And then Mozeliak and Marmol are just like, reliever. Like, no, I swear to God, if we make fucking Tink Hentz a reliever, I'm going to throw a fucking fit, because players like Tink Hentz, Gordon Graceffo, Michael McGreevy less so, Connor Hajurpi. Like, if we make any of those players fucking relievers, that is complete organizational failure with how much fucking starting pitching that we need. It is ridiculous that we continue to make these high leverage, good starting pitchers into just mid-ass relievers. Like, there's no reason to continue to just have all of these okay relievers. Zach Thompson, another prime example of that. I think I already said Ryan Helsley, but yeah, him too.
Yeah. So again, you can't just rely on, well, you can't rely on mediocre pitchers, because then you're putting yourself in a situation where your pitchers can't make it through 5 innings. You're having to rely on your bullpen too much. You overwork guys, and then your bullpen starts, performing in a subpar manner, because you're overworking them. Going back to the Pirates real quick, though, I do think they deserve some credit. They've been solid this year. I mean, through about 20 games or so. They're in the middle of the NL Central. They're very much in the thick of the race. They've been solid. I don't know how, considering they have 40-year-old Rich Hill in their pitching rotation and they have Carlos Santana playing first base for them. I'm not sure how you can be a solid team and have those two, but it's working out for them, I guess. But Pirate series was not good. I don't want to say it was necessarily bad, but it wasn't good. Rocky series was pretty bad.
I mean, we won 2 out of 3 against them, but yeah. I mean, the Rockies are a team that you need to sweep. They've lost like 7 straight now.
Well, one of the Rockies games took a pretty big comeback effort, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the second game.
Yeah, so
6-2.
Yeah, that's not a position you should be in, really, to begin with. And that was because they had a bad starting pitch. Was that Michaelis's last start?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to the problems we were talking about.
Michaelis had a start against Pittsburgh, but yeah, it was 2 starts ago.
Yep. So the Pirates deserve their credit, but Diamondbacks series so far has been a disaster, and that's when we decided to record, is when they lost their second straight game to the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks are also a really good team. Like, they are leading the NL West right now, and I think that the Diamondbacks were they are the biggest sleeper team pick that a lot of people had this year, and I thought that they were going to be really good too, because Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and the rest of their starting pitching staff, and the lineup with having Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte is still pretty good, and a couple of other pieces. Like, they have a pretty solid team in Arizona right now, and they're going to be a scrappy, competitive team. But again, we're the St. Louis motherfucking Cardinals. The fact that we are 16th in payroll and not beating these guys and being a top contending team in the NL is fucking pathetic when you have this much fucking revenue behind you. Like, you cannot be in this fucking position. It is pathetic.
Well, here's the reality for Cardinals fans. You're looking at a scenario where the Diamondbacks have lapped you, despite the fact that a few years ago, they were the ones that were trying to rebuild and traded you Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And for all the fans that are saying, oh, it's early, look at the Dodgers, look at the Mariners, the Mets are doing all right. Who's another team? Look at the Phillies, look at all these other teams. Yes, they are sitting at right around 500 as well. But the thing is, they at least look competitive and are getting good wins against good teams. We are struggling to win series against the fucking Rockies right now. We barely won a series against the fucking Rockies. We split a series with the Pirates. And again, giving the Pirates credit, I like their team this year. But we shouldn't be splitting series.
Should be beating them.
Exactly. But here's another thing. I think I said it in the last podcast, and I might have said it earlier today. We don't get to play the Pirates and the Reds 19 times this year, because we get to play everybody in the league. So sure, we get to play the Tigers and we get to play the Athletics. But we're not going to be playing as many bad teams as we once were. We get to play the Astros. We get to play the Mariners, who we play next. The Angels have looked okay. We get to play the Guardians and the Twins. Then we get to play the entirety of the AL East, which is a fucking gauntlet outside of the Dead Sox, who suck. Baltimore's good. Tampa's really fucking good. The Yankees are really fucking good. Toronto, we beat them 2 out of 3, but that feels like an eon ago. Still, like, we have to play everybody this year. I think that the Cubs only come to St. Louis twice this season or something ridiculous. They might only come once. I remember it was something ridiculous that the Cubs and the Cardinals only play at Busch 1 or 2 times this year. Like, the schedule is stretched so thin, we don't get to beat up on the shit teams in the NL Central anymore. And the Cubs look a lot better as well. They've had a really damn good start to the season. So basically my point is we don't get as many easy games as we used to because we have to play fucking everybody. And I think that is going to be shown across the entire league. I don't think that there's going to be another 100-win team for a while now. Because there's going to be so many just really good teams playing really good teams. Like, you're going to have the Dodgers versus the Yankees every single year. Like, when you have those kinds of matchups, you're bound to have a lot more series splits. But we can't afford to lose games against bad teams right now. Like, we have to be sweeping the Rockies. We have to be winning 3 out of 4 against the Pirates. Like, these are, like, every single game is amplified so much more because we have to play so many more better teams.
Yeah, and I'll just say this about the Red Sox real quick, since you did mention them and the fact that the Cardinals will have to play them. At least, I forget when in the schedule they even play them. But
it's pretty soon. I think it's next month.
So even with them, because like obviously I'm a Red Sox fan, so like I'm pretty knowledgeable about them. They're at least beating the teams they're supposed to right now. Like, they swept the Pirates. They won the series.
No, they got
Angels.
swept by the Pirates.
Or I'm sorry, not the Pirates, the Tigers. That's what I meant to say. They swept the Tigers. They won the series against the Angels. They walked it off tonight against the Twins. But they are overmatched against the better teams in the MLB. Like, they got swept by the Rays, and allowed the Rays to have like the best start in MLB history. Thanks, Red Sox. But and they're the type, especially if they get Duvall back, whenever that is, like, their offense you still have to worry about. It's just their starting pitching is also horrible, kind of like the Red Sox. I mean, the Cardinals. But that we'll talk about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. The Cardinals, though, it's been a rough ride. And I want to talk about the bad start kind of thing that a lot of Cardinals, at least the Cardinals optimists, have been pointing to.
Oh my God, there's been so many fucking sunshine pumpers that are just like, it's okay, guys, we're only 2 games under 500 and it's April. There's still 140 games left. No, like, there's a difference between starting off bad and just having a couple of games not go your way, but they just look completely overmatched in these games, and it's the same issues over and over and over again. But and we're not seeing any change. Like, if we are getting beat the same way every single night. We're not getting beat in different unique ways every single night. We are getting beat the same exact way. It is the same song. It's the same rhythm. It's the same tune every single time.
Yeah. And again, we talked about this in the last podcast. It's not as simple as pointing to the other teams that we think are going to be good in the NL and saying, oh, we're not that far behind, because even though, it's early and those teams' records aren't great, they still have the pitching that they can lean on, unlike the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't have pitching that they can lean on, and those teams are only going to get better offensively, most likely. Like, you have your players that are batting, below 200 right now that are eventually going to work their way back, and they're going to be batting like 220, 230 and become solid hitters. Like, that kind of stuff hasn't happened yet, and it will for those better teams.
Yeah. Like, the Phillies, they have Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, who aren't pitching great right now. But I guarantee you, come May, June, or July, they're both going to be on fucking fire, and then the Phillies are going to be winning most of their games. We're not going to be at any there's no pitcher where they're just going to be on their A game and they're going to go out and throw 7 or 8 shutout innings in 5 straight starts like Nola and Wheeler might be able to do, and we go out and win those games. Like, none of our pitchers are ever going to be able to do that with where we're at right now. We don't have an ace. We're not going to have an ace. We don't have any pitchers that can come in and completely dominate a game, basically. And
we talked
every
about
other really big, good team does. Like, the Braves have Max Fried, who I think went on the IL. The Dodgers have Kershaw and a bunch of other pitchers who you know are just going to be consistently good. The Mets have Scherzer and DeGrom, or not DeGrom anymore. They have Scherzer and Verlander, which, yeah, it's a fucking retirement home, and Verlander's hurt right now. But I guarantee you, again, come June, July, those two are going to be fucking dominating.
Hell, even the Red Sox beat up starting rotation. They got Chris Sale out here throwing 11 strikeouts.
Exactly. Today. Yeah. Braves also have Spencer Strider, NL Cy Young winner, going to happen, future at least.
Yeah. And so you don't, I mean, we talked about Wainwright maybe being that guy and like the guy that in the starting rotation can control a game, but we're talking about 40-year-old cooked coming off a rough World Baseball Classic Adam Wainwright. Like that's what we're excited about. That's what we're looking forward to.
We're betting on Adam. We're betting on a like 41, 42-year-old Adam Wainwright to come out and just shove, which doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah, so it's bad, and I don't agree with the fans just saying, "Oh, here's these other teams that have started off bad. Cardinals are doing fine," because it's the same persistent issues. These other teams that are losing games, and they've been finding other ways to lose them. The Cardinals, it's this, like you said, it's the same song and dance every single time that they lose. Bad starting pitching, giving up runs in early innings, not being able to come back, offense rolling over.
Yeah, offense just isn't clutch at all and continues to put themselves in situations where they can come back, but they just never do.
Yeah, kind of like tonight. Also, another rough patch sort of topic that we need to talk about is Jordan Walker. His hit streak obviously came to an end.
Yeah.
And I believe since his hit streak ended, he's like 2 for his last 20.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about him. He's a rookie. He's going to go through stretches like that where he just gets outplayed and overmatched. And I don't think that there's too much there. Like, it sucks that he's not hitting as well. But I think that's just a situation where you have to keep getting him reps, keep getting him at bats. I'm not too worried about any struggles that he has because it was inevitable at some point. But the 12-game hit streak to start the year was definitely really promising and really cool to see.
Yeah, I mostly agree with you. I don't think it's too much to worry about. He's a rookie, but Cardinals have also kind of put themselves in a position where like they kind of need Jordan Walker to be better, which sucks to say because there shouldn't be that much pressure.
Yeah, we shouldn't be fucking relying on a 20-year-old to be one of our best offensive bats. Yet we're relying on, I think it's like 22 or 23-year-old Nolan Gorman to drive in all of our fucking runs.
Yeah, it's rough. But I mean, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't believe so. I think Jordan Hicks needs to be DFA'd yesterday. I think that Jake Woodford needs to go back to the bullpen because he's significantly better there. And I like Jake Woodford. He was great out of the bullpen last year. If Wainwright comes back and takes his spot in the rotation, great. Matz has looked fucking abysmal, like in literally every single start. Matz is just not good. Another great Mozeliak signing. We got 6 starting pitchers.
I want to say one thing about Jordan Hicks, though. I would at least try sending him down. And
he doesn't have any options.
Oh, he doesn't anymore? Damn it. I was going to say I would try sending him down one more time and just letting him figure it out and then giving him one more chance. Because it's kind of sad because like at one time he was an exciting pitcher. And it's just kind of sad to see what's happening to him.
Texted the group chat this, but I miss Mike Schilt. He wouldn't let this happen.
Yeah.
And I'm being dead serious. There was a point in time where the Cardinals had Wade LeBlanc was their ace for a bit there.
I remember that.
In 2021. And while we weren't that great, we got through it because Schilt was a good manager. And I miss him. I think we talked about this in the first podcast, but
we did.
I just want to mention it again. I miss Mike Schilt. I'm sorry that I wanted him fired because he was a good manager.
He wasn't great. He also had some problems managing.
He was absolutely abysmal with bullpen management and putting Alex Reyes in when he really should never have even sniffed the field.
That's when he lost his job. The Dodgers playoff game.
Yeah. But no, I don't really have too much else to add. Just make sure, Ollie, if you're listening to this, A, fuck you. B, fuck yeah, just fuck you. Mosaic, if you're listening to this, we have 6 starting pitchers and trade Juan Yepes. Like, free him.
How about a Chain Bloom for Mo swap?
Sure, at least Shane spends money.
Well, he spends money with the Red Sox because he has to in their big
Mm-hmm.
market. But even he's kind of a cheapskate and relative to what the Red Sox are used to. So I don't know. Maybe people have speculated that ownership just doesn't let him spend, which that would be the same issue with the Deadbirds. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
like
thanks to Witt.
it's not like he's opening up the checkbook for anything.
Nope. He owns fucking Arby's. You think that he makes any money? He owns like 80 Arby's locations. There's no way Bill DeWitt makes any fucking money off of that. As a former Arby's employee myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the fans should know that you used to be a corporate minion for Bill DeWitt.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
I
of sad.
poured my heart and soul out for him.
But on a serious note, talking about Bill DeWitt, actually, it sounds like, or it seems like that in recent years, this isn't breaking news, but it just seems like in recent years that the Cardinals are just more concerned with like ticket sales and TV numbers and
Yeah.
fans. Like they're always gonna give you a team that's good enough to make the playoffs, but they're never gonna do anything. They're never gonna make a serious run, and DeWitt is okay with that. But it becomes an issue when
I don't think that they're in a position to do that right now.
that's the thing. It's like you're entering a territory where like fans could now stop showing up to games, and then all of a sudden you don't have that to fall back
Yeah,
on.
there's that Manfred article that was published that said like the majority of St. Louis fans don't have access to watching the games. So like that's a pretty big reason I'd say for why they show up to the games is because that's like one of the only ways that they can watch it, because the Bally Sports Midwest deal is fucking ridiculous and whatever. But nobody's going to want to go to the games if they're fucking horrible. So they're going to really start losing out on deals and revenue.
And the last time that happened, was that 2021? There was like one bad stretch a few years ago where they were like, I think it was.
It was the summer of last year.
Was it? There was one really bad stretch they had. I thought it was a couple years ago. I thought it might have actually been right before Matheny got fired and then Schilt became the interim, where their attendance just was terrible. It was like the lowest they've ever had at Busch Stadium in like so many years. It was, I want to say it was like 16,000 fans. Oh, I remember now. There was Albert Pujols' first game back at Busch Stadium as an Angel. There was only like 16,000 fans there because the Cardinals were like really bad. Do you remember that?
There was a pretty big crowd for the Pujols return.
I wanted to say it was like,
I think it was 2021. There, like when Wade LeBlanc was our fucking ace, there was a stretch there where nobody was showing up to games.
Yeah,
and I think there was a pretty big stretch last year as well where just nobody went, because it was definitely last year because it was 2021. Sorry, I remember this exactly now.
No, yeah,
so. They were horrible in May and June, and they were like 4 games below 500 going into July or some shit like that, and their attendance was fucking abysmal.
Yep, I remember now.
For like a 2 or 3 week stretch.
But that could be happening this year.
I think that it could be happening, and it could be happening for almost the entire year, because
the pressure will really be put on Bill DeWitt and Mo to do something about it. And I think
start thinking about who will trade at the deadline.
Yeah, really though. But yeah, no, I think that's all we got for this one, though. I mean, we got our thoughts out. We'll see what happens tomorrow in Game 3 versus the Diamondbacks.
We're facing a left-handed pitcher. It's Madison Bumgarner. We own him. It doesn't count even if we win.
Well, if you don't, then that might call for a second consecutive Deadbirds discussion.
Maybe.
So we'll see what happens, but we're going to go ahead and end it there. So for all of you watching, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Cardinals fans can find this. And we will see you all in the next one. And stay tuned for the next episode of Deadbirds Discussion.
Deadbirds suck.